The late George Carlin once said, "Never argue with a fool. They will only bring you down to their level and beat you with experience." It's actually a Mark Twain quote that he kind of gave his flair to. And while disregard may be the best method for dealing with the reality television man-baby Donald Trump, as citizens, we must also be extra careful not to get caught up in his hateful rhetoric. American political discourse has gotten increasingly more polarized in the recent years, which led to a hate-spewing candidate like Trump, who is, and I've said this a million times already, just a run-of-the-mill Republican candidate on steroids. And this is what happens when we do react to Trump.
Overnight, police in riot gear blasting pepper spray.
Did they push her to the ground?
And using smoke grenades to disperse anti-Donald Trump protesters outside his rally in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Similar instances of violence have occurred throughout the primaries, but if the intent is to stop Trump, we need to realize that it's not working. It's only making him stronger. At this stage in the process, violence only makes Trump look like the underdog, as if he isn't the bully, but he's actually the one being bullied by the crazy liberals and establishment media. It's all over his messaging. He says stuff like, "I didn't target the Clintons in a nasty way until they ran a hit piece on me in the New York Times. I'm not causing the violence, these protesters are." And part of what Trump is benefiting from is the increase in polarization of the American electorate. According to Pew Research, back in 1994, only 64% of Republicans were to the right of the median Democrat on their core social, economic, and political views, and only 70% of Democrats were to the left of the median Republican. These numbers have now risen to 92% and 94%. A lot of that has to do with the media, and it's not just Fox News. It's not even just mainstream news. We at the Young Turks also play a part in this polarization. Americans now frequent social communities where an algorithm shows us political opinions we tend to favor. We watch the same news sources and dispute facts coming from sources with the opposite bias. We even block people and end friendships with them for supporting opposing candidates. And I get it. I mean, sometimes I even want to block people I do share the same views with. I'm talking about you, Karen. You do not have to share every single thing that comes out of Occupy Democrats. Throw me a freaking bone with the occasional dog meme or two. While racial resentment, economic frustration, and mistrust of the establishment are three key drivers of Donald Trump's success, political divide will only further improve his status amongst GOP voters who may be on the fence by painting Trump as the victim and allowing him to continue with his divisive rhetoric. It's easy for me to stand here and say that violence is not the answer. I understand that Trump's rhetoric makes us feel a certain way, whether we agree or disagree. That's its intention. That's what he does it for. But the reality is, violence will only make Trump stronger. Any violence those of us on the left direct at Trump will likely be returned to us in spades by his supporters. Except that instead of spades, they own guns. And lots of guns. We on the left have the moral authority to decry Trump's rhetoric as divisive and inciting violence. But when we adopt violent tactics ourselves, we not only lose that moral authority, but we also unwittingly play into Trump's efforts to further debase the debate and drag us down to his level. And Trump has a lot more experience down there than we do.